Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 54. We are live. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we have a panel of 3 this week.
Yeah, so everyone else can get motion sickness. Yay!
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
So what's going on?
I hate video shows.
And why are you on a video show?
Well, because this is the only way you guys do it now.
We've done it twice.
Still, I know I'm going out of order here, but I saw the comments on last week's episode asking if more of the GCRN podcasts were going to do video shows, and I basically said none that I'm hosting because it's too confusing for me to pay attention to an actual topic and then also pay attention to the live audience.
Right.
I just don't have that attention span at all. I need to be focused on one thing, not multiples.
Right. Well, I mean, that's one of the things I like about this is that the comment tracker, if it's loaded up, it'll show everything right to the right side. Which we have working this time. For anyone that's interested. Hang on one second. Yeah, so anyone that's interested, we have the comment tracker working. You can actually comment on the YouTube channel if that's where you're watching us. Although I can't see the viewer count. That's Steve's job there to see if anyone's actually watching.
Yep.
And then there is about a 1 to 5 minute delay from when that comment gets through to us. So if you post a comment, please don't start yelling at us that we're not responding to you. There is a little bit of a delay getting it to us. So
it's kind of like radio, ladies and gentlemen. There's a 7-second delay.
Or however long YouTube decides to do it for.
True.
Yep.
Very true.
Well,
so have any of you guys seen a lot of that the ice challenge
Yes.
lately?
I
Yes.
can't not see it.
There have been some pretty good ones, actually. Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche, Ben Affleck. I'm not a fan of Jackass and all that stuff that used to be on MTV, but Steve-O actually put it in some pretty good perspective. It's not just something to just dump a bucket of ice on yourself. You know, you should at least mention what it's for and where you can go to donate for ALS, because that's the whole point of this, is to raise awareness for ALS, aka Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah, I was seeing that going around like with the ice bucket thing, and I was like, what the hell is this? And you couldn't help not see it everywhere, and it's still floating all over. And then I thought I was going to skate by without having anybody say, oh, you have to do it. And then my brother-in-law's girlfriend nominated my wife, and then she, of course, stands there and goes, ah, ha, ha, and then gets me, and then I'm like, okay, that's great. So I actually recorded it earlier. I'm going to edit it in at some point tonight, somehow. But it's like over a minute long just because the kid was standing there with me for a minute, and then he ran off, and then he came back. And then it looks like I'm some cruel person because he starts crying because the amount of water that dumped on my head also dumped on him.
Oh.
But the funny thing is, what you don't see is off camera. He's sitting there going back over to the bucket, over to the water spigot, and he's like, huh? And, like, trying to get me to pour more in there for him, and then he just kept dunking his head. So, but then also somebody had the bright idea at work that, oh, let's raise awareness and create publicity for the dealership by everybody doing it after we close tomorrow. And then they're going to
So you have to do it twice?
Yeah.
So that's how you got screwed into doing it.
Yeah, well, they came to me at like 3 o'clock. They're like, how about we do that and blah blah blah, and then we're gonna call out other dealerships around. And I was like, okay, and they're like, so how should we do it or whatever? And I just copied what everybody else was saying, and they're like, because they didn't know what to say for it or whatever, and it's like it's not that complicated. So, and then they're like, we're going to need a spokesperson. I'm like, you guys are on your own for that one. I'm like, I'll participate, but I'm not. I'm the one in charge of having to upload it after the fact.
Yeah, there's been some pretty interesting ones. And I think it's great. I was really hoping that the VO Buzz Weekly, Chuck Duran, Stacey J. Aswad, I was really hoping the entire set of VOBuzzWeekly.com would have gotten soaked with a bucket from the sky, but California's having a drought, so they have to save water. But at least they mentioned about the donation.
They couldn't dump even
a glass. Yeah. California's having a drought, so they need to save all the water they can. I saw Angie Harmon's. She is the voice of Barbara Gordon Batgirl in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. She's also one of the main stars of Rizzolian Isles. She actually had someone throw ice cubes at her in her backyard. It's really interesting. It is pretty awesome that, what's a shame is that they've only raised so much money. You'd think that with all these celebrities doing this, they would have raised more money than what they have at this point.
Yeah, you would think so, but yeah. So I guess we can move on to some lighter notes.
Well, real quick, I didn't realize this movie was this close to getting started, but Brad Bird just tweeted out that Mission Impossible 5 started filming today.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know it was even that close to starting.
They're probably going to hit for December next year, maybe, or 2017.
So that was interesting. I mean, well, I just saw that. I mean, he posted that like 15 minutes ago. So that was... I haven't been able to stare at a computer monitor for most of the day. I'm kind of surprised my headache's gone away as much as it did, so I could, come on and do this.
Same here.
So I was avoiding most computer screens, but now I'm fine. And the first thing I see when I go to the top of my my tweets is Brad Bird saying Mission Impossible 5 started today. What? Okay, fine.
What would be really cool about that if it starts now, and they have it ready for December of 2016. That would have been 20 years since the first one.
Yeah, no one plans movies the way you plan podcasts.
I know.
So, I guess going on to a lighter note, I've got some stuff for show and tell that I promised last week that I can actually show some people.
Yay!
I've got, well, if the camera flips to me, I don't know if it's on me or not. Is it on me? Am I not doing anything? It's on me. Okay. See, when it's on me, all I see is you, Steve. So I've got this. I went and got the tumbler as promised. And this is the little Heath Ledger Joker that comes with it. So, pretty nice. It's got a reversible head. So he can either be, happy about being the Joker, or he can be miserable about being the Joker. And this time he's bald, yeah. And I apologize for anyone that watches Off the Cuff Live and they're watching this too, because I ran out of stuff to talk about on yesterday's show, and I showed this off already over there. But you seem to have more people that are interested in watching a live show for Altered Geek. Here's the Christian Bale Batman. The only thing that makes the Christian Bale Batman is that it's the Christian Bale armor that's drawn on his chest instead of just generic Batman.
I like generic Batman.
Those two guys go on this little... Muted myself there. Go on this little display stand, which has interesting facts about the real-world Tumblr.
Yeah, I saw that when you guys were doing it on the off the cuff record, and I think that's kind of neat that they have that.
Yeah, all the Ultimate Collector's Edition sets have this, so it makes them a lot more easy, a lot nicer to display, and stuff like that. So now that I've teased you with the placard and the little figures, I have the Beast right over here. It's heavy. Ta-da!
That
And it's
sucker
rather
is a
large.
monster.
I would say it's bigger than my head.
How long did it take you to build that?
I started at about 4 p.m. and I finished at about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Now, that was with me building it at work because I have an awesome job and I can do this kind of stuff at work. And so I was being interrupted by having to go and do my job. As I said on Off the Cuff, one of the most interesting things I found about the set was the windshield wipers on it. Because that's just kind of ridiculous, but Batman's got to see. I don't think I showed this.
Batman defeated by rain.
The flaps in the back actually, are posable because, for the rampless jumps that this thing can't do.
Ah, yeah.
There's actually a whole lot of detail in this thing that I didn't want to go into. Obviously, there's the shocks. There's nitrous tanks hidden behind the wheel well back there. I don't know if you can see that very well.
Yeah.
There's nitrous gauges right there above the thruster. The top does come off somewhat, so if you're there in person, you can actually show it off. They can actually look inside. And again, this is the same thing I showed on Off the Cuff. And I feel like I'm going to drop this thing and shatter into a million pieces.
Which would be sad.
There are 2 bucket seats, and you have to put those all together by hand. They're not like one solid piece. They're like made up of like 30 or 40 different pieces.
So would that actually fit the 4-inch Batman figure that you'd buy at the store? Like because in the Dark Knight Rises, they had these little tiny 4-inch figures with very little articulation, and they're very small.
I could be wrong. I think they might, but I don't have one, so I can't tell you for sure. But yeah, that's the tumbler from the Ultimate Collector set from Lego. It's very heavy. It's actually a lot sturdier than I was expecting it to be, except for all like the little flat pieces. Those will come off they move pretty easily. But they're stationary. You have to actually try to get them to come off. They're not just gonna see. Nothing on it moves.
Keep shaking it, and it's gonna fall apart.
No, see that's the thing. It won't. Unlike the B-wing that I have and the X-wing that I have, those ones I feel like
the wings will pop off.
Yeah, like that. Those are really flimsy Lego sets, especially for the Ultimate Collector stuff. This is actually a pretty solid Lego set. And then I've got one more thing, just because I think it's a really cool little figure, because I like the Lego Movie a lot. I have Metalbeard from the Lego Movie. And he actually comes with the not safe for kids, gonna shoot your eye out cannons.
Nice.
The ones that are actually spring loaded. He has
die-cast construction. They're a lost art.
He has a cool ass sword, which you never see him use in the movie. So I think that's about all I brought for show and tell. I think Steve said he brought some stuff.
Yeah. I actually have as stupid as this is, I bought, or rather, I was pointing it out, and Mary was like, "You can get it." And she's like, "What is it, a shot glass?" And I was like, "No, it's a toothbrush holder."
It looks like a shot glass.
It does. That's the only reason I got it, is because it has the Autobot symbol on it, and it's got Optimus Prime from Transformers Prime busting out of a wall, and it's on like this rock formation. So there's actually a spot on the back for the toothbrush thing, but I was like, it'll look cool as a shot glass, like kind of bookend for my shelf.
Well, it looks like I think we got.
I'll trade you shot for shot.
Nice.
Let's see. Scanner 51 chimed in when we were talking about the ice stuff. I missed that. He said, liking the show, 7 of the ice challenge takers are worth $238 billion combined. Yeah, so $16 million is sad.
Yeah, the way I look at this ice bucket challenge thing is it's like that Helen Hunt, Kevin Spacey movie way back in the 90s, Pay It Forward. You know, that's what this is. I don't understand why they haven't raised more money, honestly. And this is the closest I'll come to actually owning a cat. Good old G1 Ravage.
Yay!
Yeah, and then another figure I have, which is actually a little bit, it's older. I have I think I can't remember what line this, Titanium line. This is Scourge. I just popped his knee up.
That's titanium, all right.
Yep. Well, it's 50% plastic, and the outer rim is the titanium pieces. But yeah, that's pretty much him, and he comes with a display stand. But that's the first character I ever voiced on a fan dub. So that's the only reason I actually bought it originally. But it's relatively quick to throw back into vehicle mode. So I've kept that out for that reason. Trying to think. I think next time I'll show my Batman Beyond Return of the Joker custom Joker that I made. From 2 different figures.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm holding on to like I have lots of stuff that I can show. But I think I'm just gonna save it and trickle it out for like the show and tell part. I don't want to blow it all in one go. Like I'll bring a couple of my Lego sets in here at the beginning of every show and show them off a little bit. And maybe I don't know. The only other thing I got this week that I totally forgot to show on Off the Cuff Live was I actually went out and I bought the blue PS4 controller because it's blue. So I totally forgot to show that off. But
I got this. This is Joe.
That's
Colton.
the Die Hard line, right?
Yeah, that's the Die Hard version. It looks like John McClane.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the same guy, but I mean, the outfit looks just like his Die Hard uniform, so it actually looks kind of funny that. And the sad thing is no 2 figures have the same kind of facial articulation. I found this at a store called Five Below, so it was $5, and they had 4 of these, and I sat there for 20 minutes while my wife was looking for stuff in the store. I was sitting there comparing their faces to which one looked closest to
Bruce Willis.
Yeah. So I felt kind of retarded sitting there looking at these, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm trying to figure out which one of these looks best."
No, I do that. I mean, not necessarily to which action figure looks best, but I know if I pick up a box for something that I want and is banged up, I'll purposely go and find a box that's not banged up, even though I'm just going to get home and throw the box away.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised I haven't opened it, but at the same time, there's some things I never open, and then there's some things that I always open.
Hey, you don't have to talk to me about opening or not opening things. I have plenty of video games that are on my TV that aren't opened, and I have some Blu-rays that aren't opened either. I blame Black Friday.
Yeah, we're actually going through watching movies now that we bought years ago that we haven't
watched
at all. Yeah, they're still encased and everything. I can't tell you how many movies that I've found that I've had that problem with, and then we're looking for a movie and we just pull them out and go, oh, this is one we haven't watched yet. I've had some that I've owned for 6 years and never even opened the shrink wrap.
I don't know. Well, you know what? No, I probably have some movies out there that I've had for 6 years as well. The problem is, for the longest time, my wife worked at a movie theater, and so she wouldn't want to watch movies at home. And I don't want to watch a movie at home by myself. So if I'm watching a movie at home, it's usually I'm going to watch the commentary track. I'm not going to actually watch the movie. But now that she doesn't work at the movie theater anymore, we're actually starting to watch more movies at home. So which is nice. And I also went and bought all 4 Terminator movies last Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't have them, and then I watched all of them in the same day.
Are you ready for New Genesis?
I'm interested to see what it is, because I saw Salvation like once or twice in the theater, like right when it came out, and I never saw it again, and I remember liking it. But watching it, like I said, I marathoned all 4 movies the Sunday that I bought them, and watching them all back to back like that, I liked Salvation a lot more. Like there's a lot of interesting little nods that I think might go missed if you didn't watch them first and then go see Salvation in the theater. I do feel like Salvation might ditch most of what happened in Terminator 3, which I'm totally okay with.
See, everybody says that Terminator 3 sucks, and
it's not as good as the other 3.
I'll say it's not as good as the other 2, because I've only seen bits and pieces of Salvation. Honestly, unless Bale's got a Batman cowl on, I don't care. I don't care about any of the roles he plays outside of Batman. The third one was alright. It was interesting if you compare it to the second one, and of course the first 2 are the best, but I'm interested to see what they do. I just saw The Expendables 3, and I enjoyed it. It's not as bad as everyone says it is. Just because it got leaked a month before the release doesn't mean that it's a horrible movie. I like that they finally got Snipes in there, and Arnold has 2 different versions of his classic "Get to the Chopper" line.
Yeah, I have nothing against the Expendables movies, but they don't do anything for me. They're just movies. I like the idea behind them, but other than that, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there's 2 news stories I just found out about recently that they're trying to make an all-girl Expendables, as in
Did you just hear about that? Okay.
A couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Just before I saw the movie, the third film, I found out why Willis isn't in it. Seriously.
I've known about the female Expendables for like the last 2 years, so I don't know why he wouldn't have been in this one.
Well, he's not in the third one because, according to Stallone and other internet reports, he was too greedy. He wanted $1 million a day, and Stallone replaced him in 72 hours with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was after the last Die Hard when he said he didn't want to do more action movies. So,
what's he gonna do? Go back to playing, the whole 11 yards, the whole 12 yards?
He's got other roles.
Yeah.
He can make, Unbreakable 2.
Or The Sixth Element.
I didn't care for that movie too much either.
I like The Fifth Element. I thought
I didn't care for it. That doesn't mean I didn't like it. It's not a thing.
I enjoyed The Fifth Element. I think The Sixth Sense was good too, other than the fact that I called it right at the beginning of the movie. I'd never seen the movie before, and neither had Mary, and I blew the entire movie for her within the first 5 minutes.
Wonderful.
She was so pissed. Because it never even occurred to her what was going on, and I'm like, the dude's talking to himself. Like, there's nobody listening. Nobody's acknowledging he's there. He's dead. And she's like, why did you do that? You ruined the movie for me. And she's like, I don't even want to watch it now. And she still watched it. I wouldn't either
after you did that.
What's that?
I wouldn't either after you ruined it.
I wasn't trying. Usually I'm pretty good at guessing. Of course, so is she.
So, I didn't mean to go off track and make this like an M-Wire thing, but... Yep. I don't even remember what we were talking about. About watching movies. Yeah, well, it was about watching movies, opening them up, movies that we haven't watched at home, blah, blah, blah. So,
yeah.
Well, we can get into a little bit of classic AGU news.
Yeah, let me go find your script. Found.
Super.
So we want to do TV?
Sure.
Well, I think Mike's the one that wanted to talk about this first one.
I only wanted to mention it briefly.
It's all related.
I mean, I don't do bullet points in the way Steve does his script, so I just put the second link on the second line in the script. But anyway, I love the Facebook the trending menu on Facebook, because that way I can see stuff that I haven't seen before. And this is one of the things that the NFL is going to charge artists to play the halftime show at the Super Bowl in 2015.
Well, let's just clarify this. I mean, I haven't read anything because I really don't care, but I'm guessing this is more of a going to try to charge artists.
Yeah,
to play
probably.
The Super Bowl. It'll be interesting to see who does. But I don't really. I do Super Bowl parties, but I throw commercial parties. I just have people over. I get all the appetizers ready, all that stuff that you would have for the Super Bowl. But I mute the game and watch the commercials. So,
hey, that sounds like a pretty damn good plan right there.
It's a lot of fun. And then my wife likes the halftime show, so we unmute that and she watches that, and we crank the volume all the way up. And then when that's over, we mute the game again, just unmute for the commercials. So I've done that since 2008. Every Super Bowl since 2008, I just throw a giant commercial party. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, according to one of the articles that I had linked in the show notes, the NFL doesn't actually pay the act. They pay them in the form of exposure. And that's been known for years. So, them performing the halftime show gets them the exposure, and that's how the NFL pays them without actually having to pay them cash. But now they want to charge them, which it makes no sense to me at all. It really doesn't.
No, because, people are paying to go, and then you also get advertising dollars probably based on who your halftime show is, because more people are going to tune in to watch that. It just seems like double, triple dipping somewhere, but I'm not a marketing guy. I don't know how much money the Super Bowl makes. Apparently it's not enough.
Yeah. According to this article and according to the Wall Street Journal, the league is asking for a financial contribution from artists, or at least a portion of their post-Super Bowl tour income. That's a little ridiculous.
Oh, that's because they gave them the free marketing, so any boost in sales that you may get, they want that money. Which is, horrible.
Yep.
So, I don't have too much more to say about that. Does anyone else?
Nope.
Real quick before we move off of TV, though, I found something interesting today when I was able to look at my phone. There's a Minority Report TV series being developed.
I heard something about that.
By Steven Spielberg?
I heard something about that, and there's another movie that's being adapted to a TV series, too. I just don't remember which one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I'm interested to see what. I'd watch it. I'd check it out. Although I can't help but see this going the way of Almost Human. Not Almost Human. Yeah, Almost Human. Where it'll be really flashy and really expensive, and then it won't get a second season.
Now let me ask you guys this. Why do you think that a lot of the TV shows, let's say in the past 3.5 years, start off really flashy, really expensive, when the networks know that hasn't worked before? Why do they keep doing the same thing when they know they're just going to cancel it after the first season?
I don't think it's that they know. I think they go big and they go bold to try and get people to watch, because they're realistically, I think what TV is starting to do now is it's starting to compete with movies. And if you're trying to get people to watch your show, you want that show to compete with what they can go see in the theater. So you start out big, you start out flashy, and they get and nobody tunes in. Like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Almost Human I don't know why Almost Human didn't work. I actually blame Almost Human on them airing that show out of order, is what I blame Almost Human on. But let's see, we got another tweet from Scanner51. I don't want to bust up this flow here, but he says he's still waiting for Metallica to play the Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't think Metallica's gonna pay for that now.
Dude, no. Your daughter will be a grown-up before that happens, Scanner51. Metallica will be dead and gone before that'll ever happen.
Well, they won't be dead and gone. They'll be playing in their diapers.
They'll be holograms or heads in jars.
Futurama them.
Yes. Metallica, like, they've never needed the Super Bowl promotion. They really never have. You have longtime diehard Metallica fans that will, you know, obviously if they can and have the money, they will go to every single concert. They will buy every single album. So I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I don't think you're ever going to see Metallica do a Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, I'm not a Metallica guy. I've got nothing against them. I've never really gotten into their music, so I don't like. But like I said when we were talking about it, I don't care who plays the halftime show. So
the only time I cared was when I was 13 and still impressionable, and now it's like, just give me the commercials, give me the game, and to hell with the halftime show.
So back to TV.
Yes.
I'm wondering how Minority Report would work as a movie. I just seeing it being a futuristic procedural. Mm-hmm. But I think it would come across kind of like Continuum a little bit.
Have they been renewing that show?
I can see it getting renewed for Canada, which means you'll actually be able to watch it. But whether Sci-Fi is going to renew it to air here, I have no idea. I have not heard anything yet. So,
well, that's fine because I torrent them either way. I don't get either station. So,
well, that's why I said if it's renewed in Canada, you can still watch it. I'm trying to. I don't think there was any other big TV announcements that I actually caught.
They've been talking about different people that have been cast in Arrow and Flash. I mean, for the most part, that's about the only casting news or news in general. Besides the fact all these shows are coming back in first week of October.
And I am looking forward to seeing how those go. I'm looking forward to see who they might be keeping hidden away from, because everyone they've announced now. Remind me if I'm wrong. Nightwing hasn't been officially announced for Arrow, has he?
It's been teased.
Just teased repeatedly.
That one actor keeps saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do it." I'm honestly more interested in the Flash and Gotham right now. I mean, we are supposedly potentially going to be doing a Geekcast radio episode about Arrow Season 2 going into Season 3. But honestly, I'm more interested in the premieres than I am Arrow at this point. I'm not saying that Arrow's bad. I've seen the first season and I've seen like the first 4 episodes of the second season, and it is really good, but I saw that Flash pilot and I'm hooked. And I've never been a Barry Allen fan. I was always a Wally West guy because I grew up with Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. I didn't grow up with it, but that was at the time in 2001, that was the show and that was the character for Flash that I liked. But that pilot really did make me interested in what they're going to do with the Flash and Gotham. I know people complain about, it's a prequel and it's before Batman and it's this and that and the other thing. I'm interested to see, because the way I view Gotham, I don't know if they're going to go this route, but the way I view it is it's going to be kind of like the Gotham Central comic book series, where it's focusing on the cops and Gordon more so than Batman. Obviously, he's a kid still, so that's what I'm really excited for, is that.
Well, we've talked about that. on here before. I'm still of the opinion that I wish Gotham would have been more like that Gotham High concept show that got passed around, where it's all the characters. They're just it's a complete reimagining of the characters, where you still get like Batman, but it's like Batman if he was in high school, which I thought would have been just interesting to see.
I bet I know the reason why they didn't do that. One of the reasons, anyway. Because DC is launching Gotham Academy comic book series in October.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, one of the guys from the Justice League stuff, they were backing that Gotham High.
Probably.
I don't think it was Bruce Timm. I think it was the other guy.
James Tucker, maybe.
Nope.
Alan Burnett, probably.
I thought there were like two people kind of mainly responsible for that. There was Bruce Timm and someone else.
It's
Paul
Bruce,
Dini.
Paul Dini, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was behind it.
There's like Bruce Timm and Paul Dini are kind of like the two. I don't want to say figureheads, but like at the top. But then it's James Tucker and Stan Berkowitz and Alan Burnett, and it's basically Tim and his crew, pretty much is what it is.
Right. No, I knew that. I didn't know the other names that you were mentioning. I know Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. That's why I was, and I knew it was it's one of those two guys that was behind the Gotham High project, which is why the art for it looks the way that it does.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll watch Gotham because I watch everything. So I give every episode a 2-episode shake, and so Gotham gets 2. But it'll probably, if it's not like spectacular, it'll probably just get shoved right into the train wreck pile, where I'll keep watching in the hopes that it gets good. I mean, let's not forget Arrow started that way. Arrow was firmly in the train wreck camp for me until about 12 episodes in, and then all of a sudden it flipped switch and it got really good. So
I dropped Arrow about halfway through season 1, and then I picked it up in beginning of season 2, and I've loved it since.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I kept watching, because usually if I drop a show, I'm not going to pick it back up again. So I'm glad I kept it in my train wreck, in my train wreck folder. So we'll talk about more about that on a future show.
The other thing with TV is it's no surprise to anyone because it's old news now, but since it's been a while since I've been on Altered Geek, yay, the Big Bang Theory cast got signed. So at least that show's coming back with its original cast.
I think it would have been funny. Not that I would want to see different actors play them, but if they tried to explain, like, through some BS cosmic way that, they've had a facelift change and it's a completely different actor. And
basically soap opera them in. The role of Leonard Hofstadter is now being played by...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be amusing, but I wouldn't want to see anybody get replaced.
Yeah, no. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do for the Blacklist Season 2. Now, I know, Mike, you said that was on your train wreck pile at the end, but I'm still holding out hope for that show. I still enjoyed the first season overall.
I mean, there was stuff that I liked about it. It's not the worst show on television by far that I watch. There's I keep forgetting his name. Spader is reason enough for me to watch that show. He's kind of like he's kind of like the reason. Like, I watched all of Heroes because of Sylar. I will keep watching Blacklist because of Spader. Like, his character is interesting to me, and I like seeing his interactions with people and his mannerisms and just the acting that goes on there. But other than that, and the subplots are interesting, but the main character, the female lead, she is nails on a chalkboard to me.
I hope they give her a little bit more depth with Season 2. Because the way they left it off with Season 1 is that she's basically going to go evil with Red.
Well, have they am I mistaken, or did they basically come out and say that Tom is not dead?
Yeah, Tom is not dead.
That was always my theory.
He is wounded. he was wounded because at the end of it, she shot him or something. I honestly, it's been so far since I've watched the season 1 finale. I think she shot him, but it wasn't a. He
was shot. Red left her to finish him off, and then the camera cuts away before anything is done, which is that if you don't see it, it didn't happen.
Right, and then what happens after that is that she sees his body, she leaves, and then when she comes back, he's gone. There's just a blood stain on the wall and the floor. Okay. So I assume he's still alive. I mean, I'll say, the first 8, 9, 10 episodes when they were still playing that teacher angle, I was ready for Tom to die. Once he turned into a Billy Badass, I was fine with him.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they dropped the whole, I like female characters, but I hate when, at least to me, I feel like they always go for, the female tropes, which is, marriage problems or starting a family. That stuff, to me, is so obvious. It's why can't she just be, a really good cop and have, workplace problems? Why does she have to have this turmoil? And that's one of the things, I think one of the reasons why Blacklist grates on me so much is because I watch Homeland on Showtime, and I feel like even though Claire Danes is, an ugly-ass crier, I can't stand the way she looks when she's crying, I feel like that show just handled a female character way better, and they still gave her the issues. I mean, going into season 3 now, she has a kid, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. I mean, obviously they did add more the female stuff to her, but it wasn't they didn't have an entire season of her being an FBI agent while she's pregnant. The whole pregnancy happens off screen, so it's not her carrying around a bag or anything like that. So it'll be. I'm like I said, I'm gonna watch it. Maybe it'll get better. We'll see if they get. And they did start getting rid of those. I call them tropes. They started getting rid of those, and they did make her a genuine badass FBI agent towards the end that I did appreciate. So.
Yeah, the Ansel Garrett 2-parter is one I really like out of season 1 because they basically made her a female John McClane.
Yeah, but that one was such that for me. Well, that was a good episode. That was a good 2-part episode, but that was so out of place.
Yeah, yeah.
There was nothing before that made me think that character was capable of what she was doing. Mm-hmm. At least the way I watched it. But maybe if I can get my wife into it, I'll rewatch it again because she likes a show with a female lead. So I feel like I could get her to watch Blacklist, and thus I will give it a second rewatch as well. But we'll see if that happens.
My wife doesn't care for Blacklist, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., basically half the programming I watch. She has her own set of programming that she likes instead of certain ones like that, so usually I end up having to DVR my stuff because her programming wins out, and then I just stare at my phone for an hour.
I learned that my wife will pretty much watch or give a try anything that has a strong female lead into it. Or if it's just really funny. She'll watch stuff that has, male characters as the leads, but it's got to be on the funnier side. She doesn't care too much for the dramatic stuff.
Yeah, my wife's kind of the same way. But also, if it's something based off a superhero thing, she doesn't care for S.H.I.E.L.D., she doesn't care for Arrow, but she watched the pilot for Flash, and she was genuinely interested because he has superpowers.
Oh, okay.
She's got one of those, we have arguments all the time, and she's like, and Iron Man could kick Batman's ass because he has the metal suit, or, and she's like, I don't like Captain America because he's just a dude.
He has super strength. That is a superpower.
Yeah, she doesn't consider that a superpower. It's
so
explaining to her. It's like explaining to her Batman is the mega detective, and he's the brain of the DCAU and can take down
so super
everyone.
Strength does not equal superhero to your wife. So what gives Superman an edge, or does she not? Or does he not count as a superhero to her?
Superman counts as a superhero.
Because he can fly.
Well, it's not even because he can fly. It's because he can do the laser. He can, it's all the different powers collectively.
Oh, so you have to have more than one power to be considered a hero?
Yeah, kind
Yet
of.
she likes Flash, which he has one power, speed.
She likes Flash. She likes, she's fine with Green Lantern. She's fine with. I would almost argue she's more of a Marvel fan. All the way around.
Okay. I can get behind being more of a Marvel fan.
Because she's just watching the movies with her. She likes Avengers. She likes Iron Man. She likes those because, one, it's Robert Downey Jr., and two, because it's the suit. Just like X-Men, she likes because it's Hugh Jackman Wolverine. So
it's always Hugh Jackman. Damn it.
Yep. But that's really the only reason I watch the X-Men movies is because I like Wolverine. And then she likes Spider-Man. Like, we watched Spider-Man 2 the other night, and she's like, and you're saying that this guy can't kick Batman's ass.
I bought Spider-Man 2 on Blu-ray, and I don't know why, but I do own it. Actually, what it was is I didn't outright hate Amazing Spider-Man 2. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it's not bad to me, and I don't really want to get in depth into it. But the reason I picked it up on Blu-ray is because I flipped it over. Guess what it said? Commentary track. So, by the way, we can show off our fancy new comment section. I hope I say your name right, because it's Scanner51. Is it Jesus Quizada? He said, I'll just throw his comment up here on screen. Ta-da, look what we can do if Steve will highlight me.
You are.
Oh God, my wife is the same way. She loves shows about houses, but she likes House MD, and I'm good with House.
I
liked House.
I never got into that show.
I liked House. House was interesting to me. I liked House from the beginning because it was Bryan Singer, and I like Hugh Laurie. By the way, if you like Hugh Laurie at all, he wrote a book called The Gun Seller. Mm-hmm. That was actually a pretty interesting read. But I liked it. And then someone pointed out to me that House is like a medical version of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, kinda.
And that actually completely came through for me once someone told me that. But it also gave me one of my favorite lines ever from a TV show, which is he's berating his staff, as he likes to do, and he says, I asked you guys what 2 + 2 is, and a day and a half later you tell me it's not 25. So I always like that line.
I think the only time I've really enjoyed him as an actor was in Street Kings with Keanu Reeves. I just don't care for the House character. I don't.
You didn't like him in oh my gosh, what's the one with the mouse? Stuart Little? Or 101 Dalmatians?
God, no. I've seen 101 and I've seen Stuart Little, but I haven't seen their sequels, thank God.
There was a really funny GIF or GIF, I don't know which way you actually were supposed to say it. There was a really funny one on the this YouTube video that I found, and it showed a picture of Peter Dinklage, and it played the Mario like eating a mushroom noise, and it morphed into Hugh Laurie. It was pretty funny. Did we lose Mike?
No, I'm still here. I had to turn the video off. I couldn't stand it anymore.
That's alright. Just want to make sure we didn't lose you.
Because my neck was like leaning halfway to the left, and the next thing I know, I'm not going to be able to move in 3 hours.
He's like, meh, meh.
Quiet, you.
So, I think, before we close it out, I think we can more or less bring back the 10-minute blitz for a quick moment with three of the kind of no-brainer, just comment on things, article titles. Are
we doing tech, or did you have three picked out?
I have three picked out down at the bottom of the script, which...
Oh, there they are.
So, yes, this is the 10-minute blitz. Ha 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 ha.
Hey, you figured out how to do screen share.
Yes. No, actually, there's where the lower third is, there's a custom overlay.
Oh.
So I can throw an image up. I made this at work.
I didn't know that would do that. I thought that was just for the thing at the bottom.
Nope, I figured that this would work, so I'm going to leave this up until we're done with the 10-minute blitz. I guess starting out the first of the three, have you guys seen the new Stormtrooper helmet?
Yeah, it looks like a Stormtrooper helmet.
Well, yeah, but...
I'm sorry, I don't mean to belittle the whole thing, but like, it looks like a Stormtrooper helmet.
Well, I mean, it's an altered one.
To me, I don't know. I'm excited for Episode 7. I like what I've heard about Episode 7, but to show me a Stormtrooper helmet after we've seen like Stormtrooper helmets in the original trilogy, we've seen Stormtrooper helmets in the prequel trilogy, we've seen Stormtrooper helmets in the Clone Wars. Like, cool. They're white and they have black in them. Well, I'm not trying to belittle the story or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, it's a white helmet. Like, it's not. I don't know. What's your opinion?
I mean, I just think it's just like, it'd be different if they made a Stormtrooper helmet that, you know, was like a gas mask or something. Or I mean, I only liked it because I thought it was okay. That's a step in the right direction. It's not the old helmet, but it's similar to it because of the design, the shape of the thing. Like I've said with a lot of other stuff, I want to see a teaser. I want to see. I guess you could count the video that JJ took of the I don't want to say Muppet, but the animal thing that they the puppet that they used. Yeah, I guess I don't know.
You can say puppet.
You know.
That's not derogatory.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was. It's just one of those things. I'm interested in Star Wars Episode 7, but I am not paying any attention to a lot of the news for it. I saw the Stormtrooper helmet because somebody that I follow on Facebook posted about it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I like the natural evolution to the helmet. I mean, I know it's just a Stormtrooper helmet, but I like the way that the black kind of hits it on the helmet. As far as the image is concerned, I'd throw it up on screen, but I don't know how to throw like an individual image like tiny on the screen yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of impressed with it, but you know, who knows?
They Appleized the Stormtrooper helmet. Hurrah!
Yeah,
and I say that as an Apple fan.
All of the Star Wars people are going to start using iPads as data pads now.
Star Trek did it first.
Yes.
So
only Apple made the damn thing look usable. Can you look at a pad and know how to use that? I can't.
You just touch it and scroll.
He means the Star Trek data pad, Steve.
I know how it works. There's one button on the front, just like Apple.
No, but I'm saying like the way that the screen like looks, like the way information is presented on that damn thing.
Yeah, the original Series 1 is like the Kindle, like the paper Kindle, because that's how it looked. Like it's just a giant ass version of it.
Yeah.
And then the next generation version, it's like a laptop, and then they had the like little miniature tablets that had like the goofy LCAR system on it.
Yeah, exactly. Does anyone know how to use LCARs? I don't. Like
they're all color coded. Certain things work.
It just I remember there was like some one of the movies on DVD had an interactive menu system, or maybe it was a website that you went. Yeah, that's what it was. There was a CD came with like First Contact or something like that you could put in your computer and you could play like some type of game, but it was all presented to you in that LCARS setup. I could never figure out how to work that damn thing.
I had the Star Trek Encyclopedia, or Omnipedia, that's what it was called back in the day, because that was, Windows 98 days. I had that on a CD, and I did it on there, but it was kind of neat. I don't know how much I'd like using it day in and day out. But
it looks cool, and that's about it.
Yeah, it looks cool, but the implementation's crap.
Right.
My buddy Optibotimus, when there was an app for iPad that makes the iPad look like a Star Trek datapad, he put it on there, and I'm like, that just looks like it's way too cluttered.
Moving on to the next one, like I said, trying to just blitz through some of these. If Arrow were to do another spin-off, which would you like? This article specifically was something somebody posted on Twitter about whether they'd like to see the Suicide Squad or the they already made a show of it, Birds of Prey. But what other potential do you think that there would be for another series, even if it wasn't those two?
I think you're going to see... I totally think you're going to see another spin-off. Whether it comes out of Arrow or Flash remains to be seen. The way that there's been... And this goes back to what we talked about a little bit ago with the whole Nightwing teasing. There's been way more teasing about Nightwing as a character than there's been like about Brandon Routh as Cap. Or was it the Atom? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Atom.
Or like even Ra's al Ghul or some of the other characters that they're putting in season 2 or 3. I mean, I could see Nightwing getting one because he's a more prominent character out there. I don't know. Like I said, though, it'll be interesting to see who they introduce, because was Flash teased for season 2, like before season 2 even started?
I don't think so.
Like, I think that was kind of like a late thing, kind of planning that out. Because I remember the Flash pilot was originally supposed to be an episode of Arrow, and they pulled it late in the game. But I don't know. I don't even know who I'd want to see. I mean, obviously the one that comes to mind is I want to see Batman. That we all know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, CW got screwed on that one. I'm not sure how much. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Fox show, but I don't have much. I don't have much actual. I don't know how much time I'm going to actually dedicate to watching Gotham compared to Arrow or Flash, because I really don't care about seeing another origin story of everybody.
Right.
And I have a feeling that if it doesn't pick up and run with it quick, it's going to get canned.
Yeah. I think people are going to be bummed out that it's not going to be Batman. Like, I think and that's the thing, for a TV show to succeed, you need to grab the mainstream. And if you don't grab that pretty quick and you can't hold on to it, then it's not gonna. No. It's not. The show's not gonna last. Or at least, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens when they don't have Batman in there.
Stop picking his nose.
Cat's rubbing my nose.
It's the off button. That's the off button.
She's like, quiet you. She's like, I'm trying to sit and enjoy my time in peace and quiet. And then she's like, be quiet. See?
Oh, regarding Internet Explorer's alternate name, I think it should be the browser that almost works half the time.
I think they should rename it Netscape Navigator.
Isn't that kind of... That's where Firefox came from, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was actually Netscape Navigator, then it became Netscape Communicator, because AOL bought them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of, the people that were doing that, it was all Mozilla type coding, and they went and created Firefox after the fact. So.
Oh, we have another comment here.
Yay!
This is from Jason Ritter. He says there has also been a lot of Green Lantern teasing. That's Ferris Air, but I mean, yeah, it's Green Lantern teasing, but that's more Ferris Air and stuff like that in there.
Which is tied to it.
Right, it is. My understanding is because Greg Berlanti was also one of the producers on the Green Lantern movie. There was a lot of talk about them trying to link it back to the Green Lantern movie. There they were trying to use the same Ferris Air logo that they had made for the movie in Arrow. I don't know if they were ever able to pull that off or not, but I could see I think if Green Lantern's introduced, I think it'll come out of Flash.
Yeah.
Because Flash seems to be where they're going to keep all the superpowered people and some of the more fantastical elements, including the one that is teased majorly in the pilot for Flash, which I don't want to spoil for people.
Yeah, and then Arrow seems to be more grounded.
Yeah, but obviously they said that there's 2 episodes where Flash and Arrow will cross over with each other in this new season. So obviously superpowers will be a part of Arrow, but it won't be the part of it. So plus I don't want Green Arrow and Green Lantern to show up in the same show. That'd be confusing.
It would be funny.
So do you think he'll go by Green Arrow?
I think so.
Season?
I think they're going to actually transform him fully into Green Arrow this next season. I think he's going to grow out the goatee a little bit and get a little bit longer hair because, I mean, he's practically a street bum at this point.
I'm going to stop watching the show when he gets the Robin Hood hat. That's when I'm out.
They already teased the guy that played Superman in Superman Returns is going to be he's going to be
the Atom,
and he's going to own Queen Industries.
I'm okay with that. I like Brandon Routh.
I think it'll be interesting, kind of a twist throwing him in there to kind of give him another DC role.
Well, it's not any different than Chris Evans playing the Human Torch and then going to play Captain America.
Yeah, but the second job was done better than the first.
Well, Chris Evans...
He was a good Human Torch.
Oh, no, he was perfect as Human Torch, but he's even better as Captain America.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's a much better actor than Brandon Routh.
That is true.
Well, I can't really say that because I've seen more Chris Evans movies than I've seen Brandon Routh movies. But
because there's more of them.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean they're all good though. I mean, I like the Nanny Diaries. Let's not forget he was in the Nanny Diaries with
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, and I mean, Fantastic Four. Those really aren't those great movies.
No, they were terrible, but it's
the thing that
they're
always
going to do the
cracks
next
me up.
set worse.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that one. I like the Ultimate Universe for Fantastic Four, so I'm okay with everything that they've done up to this point so far. Every time I watch the Fantastic Four movie, though, the first one, it always becomes abundantly clear to me, in that movie, the Fantastic Four are responsible for every single thing that happens in that movie. And then they swoop in and they clean up their own mess, and they're considered heroes. Like, for instance, the first major event that happens after they all get their powers is the Brooklyn Bridge event, which happens because the Thing creeps out some guy and causes a major car pileup on the bridge, which then the Fantastic Four swoop in and save everyone's lives, and they're all called heroes. Like, no, everyone forgets where it started. I'm like...
It's like you guys all botched it. Look what you did.
Why isn't he in jail? Like, how is he not in jail?
What jail could hold him, though?
That's what I'm just saying. Like, how is he not being put on trial or something for causing massive damage or being sued for causing massive damage to the Brooklyn Bridge?
Well, that's what happened in the second film.
What?
They started getting sued and bills from the city and everything else in the second film.
Honestly, I don't really remember the second film that much. I remember the Silver Surfer being kind of cool, though, because, well, what a digital, but...
Yeah.
Anyways.
So I guess jumping back to some of the streaming comments, Jesus says, fantastic live show, guys. One last thing, got super geeky today. Bought 2 fish today, a dark blue one named it Bruce, and the other is red, named it Clark.
Oh, Jason Ritter called me out real quick. He said it is the same logo from the Green Lantern movie.
Oh.
So.
Never know. I mean, you won't see Ryan Reynolds in the show, but...
I'd die happy if I
Green
did.
Lantern.
I'd die happy if I saw him as the Green Lantern in the TV show.
No.
I want to see him as Deadpool.
He's better as Deadpool.
Yes, because a 5-minute computer-generated cinematic
2
proves that
minutes.
somebody is better at a character. Anyways,
Well,
it's a whole
the
nother...
personality. It's the personality.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, he would be a good Deadpool. He'd be a good Deadpool. I'm not gonna say he's gonna make a better Deadpool than like a Green Lantern because we haven't seen him as like Deadpool.
Well,
I mean, he might have been
he's
playing
just-
the wrong Green Lantern. I'll say that.
Yeah, not sure which one, but
Anyways,
so yeah. Anything else you guys want to bring up?
I guess we could bring this up since it is time sensitive to this episode. As of 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today, FXX launched the 12-day 552 Simpsons Marathon. It's been interesting going back and seeing some of the older episodes in HD. They look really weird, but...
are they
right-
stretching it, or are they still running it in 4x3?
I couldn't tell
It's
you.
not
anymore.
HD. It's original.
So it's still 4:3, because if they're stretching that, that's a travesty. If they're
Yeah.
stretching it or blowing it up to fill a widescreen television, that's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting kind of going back to some of those episodes and seeing, because I haven't had the DVD sets in years, and I know it's one network and 12 days of one show, but I'm not going to always watch it for the next 12 days, but at least, I can check in and see where they are. And rewatching some of those early seasons really bring back my, late 80s, early 90s childhood, so really enjoying that.
Alrighty, so I'm going to. I know we didn't really talk about last week's questions, but they were pretty answered pretty well on the site in the comments areas.
Hopefully the camera management was better this episode than last
Yeah,
episode.
I kind of tried a little bit better in this. Sometimes I'd forget to click on somebody else's name, but so it would just stay there, but it wasn't a lot of jumping back and forth. I'll ask real quick some questions for next week's before we answer the... I guess we can throw this one in there too. Jason Ritter says, who would you guys want to play Cable in a Deadpool movie? Which I'd have to come back to that next week. I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I'll look into that one too.
So we'll throw that in the questions too. Then there's also, what would you guys like to see us do on a live show on camera next?
The ALS Ice Challenge.
You're already getting that in my live show. Well, not live show, but I'm going to have a pre-recorded AGU that I'm going to slap in the middle of it somewhere. I already did mine. And I got to do it again tomorrow. Suffice it to say, I was an ass in my video. But the other question is, would you like to see a Grand Con live episode?
I don't think live from the show floor. I think live from my hotel room, like after.
Yeah, I'm
we're
not
done for the event.
sure how long, or how we'd be able to do that anyway. I mean, it'd depend. I know the room would be easier, but I don't know
Now-
if we'd actually be able to pull something off on the floor.
Right. Well, see, we can because Google Hangouts on the on your phone or like on my tablet is capable of doing a live show from your phone or tablet. You can do a live show that way. But yeah, it'd probably be something pre-recorded not pre-recorded, but a live show from and then posted later in an archive. But from my hotel room, probably at, like the closing of one of the days of Grand Con when Steve is out there. So yeah, would you like to see that, guys?
Yeah. And also, if there's people in the Michigan area during Grand Con's times, hit us up at the table. We had fun conversing about comics last year at the table. This year, you'll actually see an actual GCRN banner across in the front of the table instead of a piece of paper. So...
A piece of paper? Somebody threw a piece of paper on top of me.
I don't even get that reference.
It's an old Bill Cosby joke.
Yeah,
Actually plays into TMNT's Buck Buck.
Again, I don't get that reference.
There we go. Okay, moving on.
So want to interact with the show, you can contact us in the following ways. Of course, you know the Twitter handle. Mine's at SCP21.
Or are you going through your stuff?
No, you can go ahead.
Oh. And then mine is at BoothNinja81, as it is at the bottom of my screen here.
TFG1 Mike doesn't have his on his screen. He's just got his mug.
Hey, it's Sketch, damn it. It's at TFG1 Mike on Twitter.
I rather like the drawn image. It reminds me of the guy from Masters of the Universe.
It just looks like a wolf man.
I am not Gwildor, goddammit.
Somebody actually posted that on Facebook. I was like, it does.